internet connectivity issues. All right, guys, just gave me 2 start times. Anyway, I was starting to talk, and then it said, now we started. Anyway, internet issues today. It's kind of slow, but we should be going. Looks like things are in good shape. Go ahead and do a backup Camtasia on this, and we'll get rolling. Okay, there we go. Okay, everybody. Let me go back here a few minutes and see if I had some questions I missed already. We've got Shane was having some issues with the chat box. He had some internet issues today, it looks like, as well. George SF is on. Brian, Jeremy, Philip. Cool. All right, Philip, George, have you conquered the world yet with that high-powered domain? Philip, stuck in low gear, was going to populate with the vSilo and got jammed. I feel like a Walmart shopper standing next to Paris Hilton. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, Paulo, I'm going to start things off with a joke. Wife, honey, how do you like dinner? Husband, one of my choices. Wife, yes or no? I like that. All right, give me a sounds. Give me kind of a sound check, guys. Thumbs up if things are working. Now hear you. Okay, good to hear, George. Yeah, video-wise, we're gonna do some different things. That I started noticing how annoying that kind of endless picture-in-picture thing was. So I'm gonna leave the video code out of the page that I'm on, actually. So I'll just have the broadcast with the chat box here. So hopefully that'll be less annoying. Although this connection timed out thing is kind of annoying, which will be on the broadcast, I reckon. Anyway. All right, Philip, thanks for the nudge. I just realized I could use the help with an old version. New version did not load the help page. I started using old vSilo site, and that helped. What's down here? Okay. All right, Kim Klug, in your video series I just listened to, you said that you have URLs with 10 to 20 different versions. Do you buy all those at once or scale it after success? When I first got started, Ken, what I did was purchase about 15 different domains. I actually had some of those before I got involved with online marketing, just things that I thought I might one day use. And they were just kind of sitting around in an account. So I used those and put content on them. And I did scale up from there, but I kind of started out with like 10 or 15 sites and got going that way. I already had it monetized pretty much because at the very least I could have used the leads coming in from those sites for my own construction company. I didn't want to, but it would have been a way for me to make money with them. So that was one of the reasons I felt pretty comfortable with scaling up pretty quickly and doing things that way. Dave Morose, cool, man. Sounds good. Good to hear. Sound is worse than usual, but bearable. Yeah, Michael, I think I've got some weird internet stuff going on. The house that we're in was built in the 50s, and I think we've got some trouble with the actual wiring in the house as opposed to my modem's all good and the service I have is good, but everything else is slow. George is saying double talk. Yeah, there might be some fade in and out. Hopefully it's not too bad, guys. Jerry G is in. Cool. I hear you, but it kind of sounds like you're standing in a windy spot. Yeah, no wind, other than my hot air that I typically breathe. And Jeremy's saying audio's not quite as good as usual, with some background interference. Okay. Brian's saying he's getting errors from playing the YouTube video. Philip's saying thinks I'm at the beach. Be nice if I was, man. All right, guys, so what do we have as far as questions go? I think we've been kind of talking about most of the questions that we cover are related to silo structure and backlinking and monetization, things along those lines. Had a few email questions come in. I guess I could rehash those if I need to, get the questions going. Okay. All right, Bob. Is there an easy way to tell if a site is WordPress or something else? I thought of just seeing if the site has a login on the site.com WordPress admin. That's what I typically do, Bob. I'll just type in that /wp-admin and see if it comes up as the login screen for WordPress. There's also a service that you can use that you can pick out exactly what theme someone is using. I think it's called What's My Theme, and it will tell you whether it's WordPress, because it tells you actually not only whether it's WordPress, but also whether it is a particular theme that it has in its database. So, and that will tell you both of those issues. Jeremy, what's the importance of interlinking within a silo structure? Essentially, it just helps Google to confirm that your site and your pages are about the things you say they're about and the things that Google thinks they are about. So Google has essentially kind of three ways of determining what your site is about. One of them is your on-page content, so all of the regular, text and the titles of pictures and things like that on your page. Another one is your off-site backlinking, going to the site, so the anchor text of the links pointing back to your website. That's a very strong indicator that Google will use to tell what your site is about. Then the other one is actually the anchor text of the on-page links that you have, interlinking. So you want to kind of pay attention to that within a certain silo. You don't want to link across silos; that defeats the purpose of them. But within a certain silo, you can pay attention to anchor text that way, and I guess further help Google understand what your site is about, which is really nuts and bolts of what we do to accomplish SEO. All right, Philip, are you enrolled in the CPA programs yet? I asked because they are difficult to get into apps. I could use your name as a reference. Yeah, Philip, I actually have a couple ideas for you on that I have been trying to get fleshed out and put together, but have just not gotten finished up yet. I use, oh good grief, I can't ever think of the name of it. There's a CPA network that has a bunch of different offers and things on it, and I never can keep track of what it's called. Let me look through my notes here real quick, see if I can find it. Anyway, I'll keep looking for it while I'm answering some of these other questions. Okay, Michael R. I could still use advice on creating content. I must admit I haven't used vSilo yet, and I'm a bit reluctant to use scraped content, but a post takes me over 2 hours of research. Any tips? Oh man, Michael, yeah, if you're at that point, I would either really heavily look at outsourcing content. If you're talking about a post from a PBN back to your website, that's something that's really slowing you down. If it's taking you 2 hours to do, I would look at either outsourcing that or trying to think. You're talking about reluctant using scraped content, which I would be too if you're not doing anything to add value to it. Yeah, I think your next best option would be outsourcing in some fashion or partnering up with somebody who's good at content creation. I know there's a bunch of guys in the group are scaled up enough that they do kind of create content in a lot of different ways pretty quickly. But I'm trying to think. Yeah, the content side of things for me was always kind of my strong point. I actually had to learn the SEO to get my content in front of people, as opposed to vice versa. So, yeah, let me think on that a little bit, Mike. I'll see if anything comes to mind that I could kind of toss out there and help you with. A lot of times, as these sessions flow, the ideas kind of come and things pop up like that. Okay, Bob, you can also do a view source and see about the WordPress file structure. Yep, that's a good way to do it. Hey, Kim Klug, there was a comment on Facebook by adding one link that purchased increased my rankings. I do not understand adding one link to a PBN site. I thought the link comes from the PBN. Yeah, Ken, I would say that the the comment may have been a little bit of a misrepresentation. You're accurate on what you're describing there. I think the person probably said they added a link, you know, like the HTML code of the link to a PBN site, pointing back to their money site. So yeah, you're right. You would rightfully be confused by what I've written, but your understanding of it is correct. Yeah, George is talking about some blue source to figure out whether it is WordPress or not. Offer Vault is a decent one, TJ. Yeah, that's one that's been talked about. Specifically, TJ, if you remember the CPA network site that Jimmy was talking about at OMG Live, that was the one I couldn't remember. For the most part, I still have, I do CPA and I like it, but there's only a few, there's only like one company I really work with that much as far as rolling out new stuff. And that's kind of the offer, the deal I'm trying to put together for you guys. So once that gets hammered out, it'll open up a lot of avenues for us. So, all right, Graham, sorry, I just got in. Did you discuss my question already? Those sent the email. Graham, I actually responded via email to you. So you can check your inbox, and there will be some response and suggestions on that offer, or that question, just because it did have some, you know, potentially sensitive information about that launch that you're talking about. Okay, Bob L., is GScraper part of GSA or another product? It's branded by the same company, but it is another product. So there is a scraping portion of GSA that I don't think is called GScraper. It will scrape for you. It's built in, but it is not as robust or functional as GScraper. So I think a lot of people use GScraper in addition to GSA to get the most out of their scraping experience. Yeah, Jerry G says Offer Vault is a good aggregator of CPA networks. Although you still have to apply for each network directly in order to promote it. Yeah, you guys could start looking there. Jeremy, as a follow-up to the question regarding interlinking, is there additional benefit to do additional interlinking beyond what vSilo does as default? I think there is. I don't have any proof of it, but on a website, I kind of like information to flow, and when I'm reading a page and maybe I've done a search for one term and land on a page that's kind of about it, but it's not specifically about it, and I come across, you know, a hypertext link in the text that says it's about exactly what I was looking for, I'll click on that, and if it, you know, it goes to within the site, I think that's a good thing. I think it also probably helps reduce the bounce rate, which would keep people on your site more and keep them involved more. And as that the on-page activity of your site increases, your rank will increase as well. So that's something that we definitely want to consider and think about. All right, where are we here? Okay, Pat, I was finally able to get 2 great PBN sites today. Very cool. Congratulations. After I get the notifications from the registrar, first step is to set up privacy and changing the name servers, right? Yeah, you won't be able to change the name servers until you get the hosting and things set up for that, Pat. But yes, that will be something that's done as soon as your hosting is set up too. So, yeah, when you get the notification, you actually log in there and kind of claim the domain. And at that time, you'll set up the private WHOIS protection. All the different companies, they call it something different. Essentially, it's all the same thing, though. Okay, Ken, what does it mean that a domain name has been dropped, referring to auction? Be a little more specific on that, Ken. If it is an auction that was in progress and it got dropped, I would say that means it probably got renewed. If you're talking about terminology in like expireddomains.org, I think what it refers to when it was dropped is that domain name is no longer, the rights to it are no longer held by a private third party, which means that it's in auction. There's kind of some different terminology floating around with that same term. Okay, Michael R., apart from PBN pages, which other link sources do you use? Okay, so I use PBN posts mostly, Michael. So yeah, just kind of be specific about the terminology. because we link out from a PDN via hosts. I know they turn into separate subfolder organization within the structure of WordPress, but we use hosts for that. But I also, in addition to that, will use Web 2.0 sites. I get no follow links coming from YouTube for all the videos that I post. Those are the biggest ones I use. I still do some guest posting in some of the niches that I have a lot of professional experience in, related to construction and energy efficiency and sustainability. And those are, I wouldn't use those as a straight up like just your SEO bread and butter, but they work, and I do take advantage of them if you have any niches that you can do that kind of thing with. Okay, oh Bob, thanks. Yep. All right, Graham, Fletch, any advice on finding and creating a bonus for a gold trading site I'm working on? Oh boy, I'm trying to think of something in that niche. I will share with you guys something that I use that you might be able to if you're doing launch jacking or affiliate. Launch jacking, it works particularly well because bonuses drive a lot of that. I think you'll see why it works so well in a second, but you kind of have to be careful. You have to be set to do this properly. What you can do is to offer as a bonus for like online money making offers, along with that offer, to come in and say that you will do SEO for that company or for that product or whatever it might be. So if there was a product that came out, I don't know, 7 months ago, give or take, that was about how to produce an online magazine that had content and all this other kind of thing. Those people are attempting to set up a online magazine that they want to have viewers come to their page and subscribe to it and get, viewership and, grow their list and all that kind of thing. Well, something fundamentally that works well for that is SEO. So, you'd have to be very strict with what you offered and setting up kind of your expectations at a good level. But if any of you guys are doing, kind of online money-making, launch jacking stuff, I would say that is, a decent way to put a bonus together. Bonus kind of mindset, that's something Mike is killer with. So I would definitely try to take his levies and see if you can kind of talk about that. I know there's actually a video on it in the membership area as well. But if anything comes to mind, I'll let you know, Graham. I don't have any ideas for you at the moment, though. All right, Ken, that was my Facebook comment. What I meant was point. Okay, Paul. Now, Philip, TJ off the vault is not a network, but a portal. Got to be approved. Often they want to see some sites I hear. Yeah, Graham W. Follow from your email. You're saying that GSA is okay to send to LaunchJack site for short-term use, and Google will probably penalize it at some point in the future, but we can explore it for short-term. Yes, that's what I'm saying, Graham. Yeah, if you do that, just know that Google will eventually not like what you've done, and you won't be able to find your site anymore. But short-term, it can be cool. Yeah, TJ's talking AppPank. That's the one I was thinking of, but thank you very much for that, TJ. Yeah, so Jimmy Kelly, who you guys probably know, if by no other means than by reputation and from being part of the GSA training that's in Project X, he was talking about AppPang being the network that he uses for CPA, which is a huge chunk of his income from what I understand. So, check that out. Okay, Fletch, not trying to cause trouble. This question about interlinking between silos was put to Sue Bell last week on a Webby, and I believe she said not to do it. Yeah, Philip, absolutely don't do it. Don't interlink between silos, but you can interlink pages within the same silo. Maybe I wasn't clear about that part. Yeah, no, my ideas about silos, actually most of them come from Network Empire. So, yeah, I may not have been as clear as I needed to be. You can interlink pages within the same silo, not a problem. But never, ever link across from one silo to a different silo. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, let me know, because I may not have been clear there, so I'm glad you re-asked that. All right, Graham W., I'm finding launch jacking very competitive. Is this normal, especially for higher payout products? Can you discuss the ideas around using an EMD or branded site with existing backlinks to do it? Pros and cons of both approaches. Honestly, I still like EMDs for that kind of thing, especially because it's going to be, if it's not an evergreen product, it's going to be kind of throwaway. So you need as much, kind of big firepower as you can get to do that. And one of the biggest things we can do is get the domain name to be the actual product or bonus or review or whatever it might be as the keyword. So, EMDs I think are still probably very good for that. When I build new EMDs, I very often will get them ranked pretty quickly. But at the same time, I know that more and more people are using expired domains for that type of thing. But what you've got to realize with an expired domain is that your anchor text is going to drive a lot of what Google considers you to be ranking for. And if you've got anchor text going to a site already that is not in line with what you're trying to rank for, you're going to have to kind of overcome that before Google will say, oh yeah, the site is about this new thing that's getting ranked, as opposed to what was existing before. So, existing backlinks to it. Yeah, so that's kind of the difference between EMDs and expired domains. For that, the way I look at it, I would probably use EMDs more often than not. Yeah, higher payout products, the same thing. That'll just probably dictate how many people are aware of it and on it, as far as how much the price point is. All right, Dave, when you set up your anchor text on your PBN, do you add title under the URL, and should it be in any way part of your keyword? Your anchor text on a PBN, do you add a title under the URL? Okay. Yeah, I put meta tags, title tags on my posts in PBNs. I usually have them related to it, but again, being very wary of over-optimization issues, overuse issues, I vary it substantially. I will use LSI variations or synonym variations of the keyword, or use something that is, I know you're, pay attention to Network Empire stuff. I oftentimes will use kind of catchy, like headline style titles on my pages as well, or on my posts, either one. So I see you're having trouble with the Tipper Gore version of the chat box here. Censoring everything that we, if you have 3 letters in a row that could be misconstrued as third-grade humor, it seems to want to get rid of them. So, all right, TL. When building a site, what criteria, if any, do you use to decide when to use or not to use silo structure things? Really, for me, TDL, it's going to be based on the size of the site. If I really can't come up with more than about 7 or 8 pages worth of content that I think I'd put on a site, I won't silo it. I'll just kind of organize it in a way that kind of makes sense and build it out according to that. Doesn't mean I won't use decent structure, like that spinal decompression Phoenix website I have. That's not siloed necessarily, but the pain issues that cause back pain that you could get alleviated by spinal decompression, all those pain issues are under one kind of subpage. So that's one thing that I do as far as organization, even when I'm not siloing. But if you're going to put more and more resources into these sites, one of the things that made it easy for me to get up and going and earn money quickly was that I was willing to put a lot of my time into building out these websites, which meant that I had to build out, building out 40 websites, getting hosted, getting, unique content on 8-10 pages on each of those sites. It took a lot of time. Like, it was a commitment. But I needed to do that. So some people don't want to spend that much time in the kind of administrative side of setting up domains, and so they only want to build like 2 or 3 domains and have that be all of their revenue. I kind of took the other route and built a whole bunch of different websites that were all smaller, and none of them had silo structure. maybe could have accomplished the same thing with one or two websites with silo structure and got all the keywords. But at the time that I got started, I was not aware of silo structure, and I honestly was learning more than I could probably comprehend or add silo structure to it, so I just went ahead and did it that way. All right, Philip, I think Ken is referring to expired domains. There is an exchange in Facebook beginner group about whether a domain that has been dropped several times over the years should be avoided as a PBN site. Okay. If the links are still good, I really wouldn't worry about it too much. But again, that's what we need to look at and see what the quality of those links are. We always need to do a bunch of research and due diligence on looking at the quality of those links, what sites they're coming from, and whether or not they're still in place. So if a site has been dropped several times, if the links are still in place, that probably means when you pick it up this time, they're not going to get dropped. But over the years, they could have triggered some things that they lost a lot of their links from. So even those link aggregators, their databases are not flawless, and I don't depend on them to tell me if the site is valuable. I just let them kind of point me in the right direction. Domain has been dropped is a term read a couple of times different times in Facebook today. That's all I know. That's why the question didn't make sense. Yeah, essentially it means somebody just let it expire, and used in that context. Philip Graham, how about a book on gold trading techniques or some such? Look for PLR, hire a ghostwriter for $100. Yeah, you could absolutely do that. Yeah, Creature from Jekyll Island, throw that in as a hard bonus on something. Not worth that much, but if you could, package, that book along with a video he did, and then, ghostwrite the 7 gold trading secrets from, Creature from Jekyll Island. That'd be a cool little unique package that I think people get a kick out of and get some use out of too. All right, Philip, I got registered for CPA sites that I found on OV and did have to apply, etc. But once I got the first CPA site up, it showed it, and I got registered onto others. Yeah, CPA is kind of like a little thing where you got to get a little momentum going. Once you have a site up, you can just show them what you do, and they just want to make sure you're not spammy and driving a bunch of junk leads into their network, because that's going to undermine the value that they provide to their customers, their end customers. So, all right, Pat says, I hear the term evergreen in launch jacking. What does this term mean? Pat mostly refers to the fact or the ability for that product to sell over a long period of time. So sometimes with a launch, you would just kind of get in and sell it during the launch period, and then the product kind of goes away. The people who bought it can make use of it, but it's not really designed to be something that somebody would stumble across at any point in time and buy. There's some products, especially in IM, in internet marketing or information marketing, that are set up that way. But if you get into a situation where you're promoting like a weight loss product or I'm totally drawing a blank on some other thing. Weight loss products are a great idea, though. If you know one of those, and they're doing a big launch because it's a new product and there's a bunch of push behind it and marketing and ads and all this kind of stuff, the launch jacking idea is just taking advantage of all that kind of hoopla and building a site that ranks well for SEO to take advantage of that, kind of front of the mind, kind of concepts behind all that. But then after the launch, the real launch of that new product dies down, it's still going to sell a lot. iPhones, people wait in line on the first day when a new iPhone comes out, but 2 weeks later, iPhones are still selling, and they're still selling a lot of them. So the term evergreen just means it's going to sell after the initial big push of launch time. Okay, besides KLKS, is there anyone in the group that has openly shared an example of an e-commerce site that is dominating? I'm trying to think, Jeremy. Not that I know of. There are actually not many of our members who openly share. We've got an amazing community, and we've got, for the most part, 99.9% of our people are awesome and respectful and all that kind of thing. But, there's still shady people out there, and it as much as I want to be totally open and share all of our information and all that kind of thing, it is good to be a little private about some of our sites and things like that. So I'm not, I'm certainly not surprised by the fact that a lot of people have not chosen to share specific money sites with the group, because they will get out there. All right, Graham, Philip thinks the idea is, let's just say Gecko Island. Oh, Jekyll Island. Yeah, Jerry knew about it. Yeah, it's an island off the coast of Georgia, and it's essentially where a bunch of politicians and bankers and business magnates got together and formed the Federal Reserve Bank system, which then led to the creation of the IRS and led to the essentially the downfall of our hard currency and the change from it to being backed by gold into being a fiat currency. So it's a huge old book, but it's got a lot of almost cult following in people who trade gold or are in the barter system or a whole bunch of different things. It's historically accurate. So yeah, thanks for that help on that, Jerry. Feature from Jekyll Island. Yeah, TJ's got the exact title there. Yeah, Edward Griffin. PBNs and money sites. Steve, it depends on what you're trying to do. I keep my sites pretty simple for the most part. Link Juice Keeper on PBN sites, Spider Spanker on my PBN sites. On my money sites, I use a Kismet. I use some stuff to cut down on comment spam, some security plugins. I use all-in-one SEO as a plugin for my money sites as well. I'm starting to kind of think about putting that on my PBNs in addition to my money sites. So pretty standard stuff. Actually, I may go through and just kind of make a video real quick, put that up over the next week of the plugins I have. Kind of a question I get a lot of times, like through Facebook and things like that, Steve. And everybody has their own tendencies. There's no like, this is exactly what you need every time. A lot of it has to do with just what you like and what you do and how you want your site to function, things like that. George SF graphics can often be evergreen content generators themes for WordPress. Yeah. Bob L, no place else shares like the people at OMG. That's true. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, Bob. Graham, thanks guys for explaining. Being a Brit, I learned something new. Yeah, my understanding with as many international folks as I know is that Americans tend to not trust their government more than just about any place else in the developed first world. So we have a lot of books and people who are leaders of groups within the country who cater to that mentality that many of us have. Michael R saying, what do you use all-in-one SEO plugin for? All-in-one SEO plugin is just a great quick way to get your meta tags and your description and things set up for each of the pages in WordPress. So yeah, it's just a plugin that gives you added functionality on all of your posts and all of the pages that you create so that you can set those meta tags and description accurately. And yeah, that's what I use it for, just getting the SEO, the on-page SEO stuff tightened up and dialed in a little bit better. PJ's saying, I absolutely trust my government. Just don't ask me what I trust them for. That's pretty good. Yeah. Before I forget, guys, we've got Easter coming up here in a couple weekends, and we will be rescheduling my Sunday office hours. So this session, we're going to go ahead and just move it to Monday on that week. So just a heads up. I'll get it, formalized and over to David so he can update that. But that's just kind of, to put on your calendar if you want to kind of plan ahead. All right, Graham W. Fletch, I'm ranking videos a lot at the moment, I think, for launches and products, but I'm finding the GSA links are taking ages to be found. I'm indexing them, but still taking 4 weeks or more. Any way to speed it up? What are you doing to determine whether those are being found by Google, Graham? Because we've got a few different ways to verify and validate whether those links are in place, but there are not a lot of ways to verify and validate whether Google knows if they're in place. So if we use Open Site Explorer or Ahrefs, those are their own aggregator bots that go out and look for those links to see whether they're in place. If we trust GSA to go and verify whether they're in place or not, that's still just making sure that the link was placed and not whether it's been indexed or not. So as far as I know, we do not have a great way of knowing whether or not Google has in fact indexed and taken into consideration those links. The 4 weeks or more, that's actually pretty standard protocol for if you're using like Open Site Explorer to see if they've been placed or not. So that might be what you're talking about there. All right, George SF, regarding Google authorship, when should we use that? Money sites, etc., or just for Web 2.0? I didn't know that we could put authorship on Web 2.0s, honestly, George. I have never done that before. Yeah, but I put them on money sites for the most part, and when I am going to get into a niche that I'm really going to put a lot of effort into, that it's going to be, something I grow with and that I want to put actually my personality into, I will apply authorship on that. Otherwise, if I'm just getting set up and doing a test to see whether or not it's going to work or not, I usually kind of leave it alone and don't put the extra work into it, though. Yeah, and Graham's saying Hrefs. Hrefs is quicker, but it's still, there's some lag time on it, Graham. Michael R., have you ever had and even regardless of whether there's lag time or not, it is not indicative necessarily of whether Google has taken that link into consideration or not yet. Michael R., have you ever had a PBN site that either did not work at all or that might be implicated in a penalty before or after you bought it? If so, what do you do? Well, if you own it, you can put Google Webmaster Tools on it, and you will get a lot of information from them about whether or not it might be penalized, what's going on with it, what Google thinks is going on with it. You could potentially even disavow some of the links pointing to it. I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head right now about ways to address that. For the most part, no. I've bought PBN sites that I realized after the fact were kind of crappy and that I spent too much money on, especially when I first started this. But after that, yeah, I don't know that I can think of any of the PBN sites that I set up that just don't work, that don't pass good link checks. Graham says, or checking listings from Google, but as I'm in the UK, I can only see UK listings. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you've got a different version. You could always set up a VPN if you really needed to, Graham, or wanted to. It's a virtual private network. Essentially lets you log in through an IP located wherever you want it to be, which provides you some security and anonymity, and also would let you see listings from other places. Oh, I just actually answered the question that you had as a follow-up there. So yeah, that would be one way to do it, Graham. Artie, I have a site ranking #1 for a ClickBank product, but the product doesn't convert well. Should I promote another product from that page? Yeah, you could, Artie. You kind of hijack that traffic and just say, before you buy whatever product you're ranking for, you need to read this first. And then your content on your page could say, I actually looked at this product, And although it does make some good promises, there are some fundamental problems with it. And I actually took the time to go out and find this other product that actually works a lot better. And you can give the reasons why, kind of give a quick little review, kind of compare and contrast type conversion, content on your page, and promote it that way. That wouldn't be a bad thing at all, especially if you're ranked #1 and you're not making sales because their offer is lame. Yeah, just promote a different product and do it, do it ethically, like I described. That would be a perfect way to, to not only make money, but to help the people that you are, serving by helping them find products that solve their problems. I think that would be a cool little thing to do. All right, Graham, enlighten me on Greg's Fiberman, please. Which video or remark? Yeah, absolutely, Graham. No worries at all. So yeah, I'll let Graham comment on that real quick for you guys and see if he can give you some more information on what he's using to rank those, if he's using a fiber gig or not. Actually have GSA VPS in the US. I'll do that. Hadn't thought of it that. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. If it's already set up here, it's got a US based IP, and just jump on Internet Explorer, whatever set up there, and you can do a search and get the actual results for it. Already cool, thanks. Cool. All right, Jerry G. Graham, you can change your location on the computer to a US location. Yeah, service like I think there's a service that's actually called Incognito Me or something like that you could use. It's essentially just a private IP, kind of like Hide My Ass or something. Graham, yeah, I am. Send me the details of the site, your login and password details, and then what you want installed. Most people right now are wanting me to install Genesis with Dynamic and then possibly a skin on it as well. But we do have some other offerings, so just let me know what you want. If you don't have that list, I can send it to you as well. It's kind of been out and circulating. I think it might even be posted in the membership area. But if you can't find that, let me know on email. I'll send it to you. And then just send me the details if you already know, and I'll get that installed for you. Oh, Jerry says Incognito is actually a piece of Chrome, or a setting in Chrome. That's cool. All right, not seeing any more questions here for a little bit. Oh yeah, Graham's saying Michael R. Seawork, I think, is the fiber guy. Ping me and I'll give you the details on what he's using. The Seawork service is what Greg has shared with the group as far as a fiber gig that he's been using, or a fiber gig service there. But yeah, Seawork, if you look, his page has like 30 different things he offers, so you can check that out. Steve C is asking if there's a WordPress security plugin that I prefer. The one I'm currently using is from Yoast, and yeah, it's Yoast. Do a Google for Yoast security plugin. It just came out. But yeah, Yoast makes WordPress plugins and themes So he makes a really good SEO plugin and a video SEO plugin that will get your thumbnail indexed. You can actually get a thumbnail showing for videos. He's got some good stuff. You can check it out. Okay, Michael R. Is the Genesis Dynamic theme one I will have to buy if you install it? Well, if you want it on other sites, Michael, yeah. I mean, I can install it on one site, maybe even two for you, but if it gets outside of that and you want to put it on like 15 or 20, you need to buy it. But what this does is it lets people get set up and go in and start to use these themes and see if they like them or not before they buy them. And Genesis Dynamic, quite frankly, is what I've got running on almost all my sites. I either got Catalyst or Genesis and then Dynamic running them. So the most recent additions to our content area on website design that Mike Hayden put together, and then that product that Mike and Clinton put together and put out last week or the week before last, it's all based on Genesis Dynamic. So if I install it for you, that site's fully functional and will work as long as you want it to. It'll update itself, no big deal. But if you want to install it on more than, that site or two sites or something like that, you'll need to buy it yourself. I don't think there's a way to essentially, download a theme from your site and put it on another site. But I could be wrong there too. I've just never done it. Oh, wait, almost missed this one from Graham. Is it fair to think that if PBN links are not moving a site that we just need more, and to keep linking until we see movement, give it a few days between each one? Yeah, I mean, I'm even more patient than that, Graham. But yeah, if you're doing everything right, that might just be what it needs, what it takes. Google's becoming more and more with ingrained sites. They're taking longer to give you credit, I guess, for links that they're seeing. I guess you could say it takes longer to see the movement from them. It's been my experience over the last year and a half now. TJ, if you are using Chrome, look in the upper right corner for 3 parallel lines, click it to open, then you can use it incognito, the drop-down menu. Oh, cool. Graham says, if you looked at the new WordPress security from the Backup Buddy guys. Yeah. You know what, honestly, maybe that's the one I'm using. So I'm glad you said that, Graham, actually, because I had been using Ghost's security plugin before that. I have now switched over, and the new sites, I'm testing it on about 10 sites right now, but I'm liking it quite a bit, the way it works, what it gives you access to, real quick and simple setup anyway. But yeah, the Backup Buddy people are the ones who I use now for new security stuff. I'm glad you said that, Graham. I had it backwards. I had thought that I was using the Backup Buddy. But yeah, that new Backup Buddy plugin for security is what I'm currently using. I picked that up. Actually, I think within a couple days of when it came out. Yeah, Kismet I have set up on all my sites. It's a trackback spam plugin. Yeah, iThemes, I think we should put those out. That's the company behind Backup Buddy. And Backup Buddy is what I use. That's a plugin also. I don't know if it's Philip or Pat, or I can't remember who asked earlier some of the plugins I use. I have Backup Buddy now on everything. All my PBNs, all of my money sites. And I do full backups off-site to keep track of all my content. Okay, Philip saying, I just finished first phase setting up weekish blog network, 10 sites, domain authorities 1539, PRs 1 through 4. I think I have many more questions for you in the next few days as I start on the next phase of local niche and affiliate CPA sites. Philip, congratulations, man. That is awesome to hear. Yeah, getting that network set up, that's a huge piece. You're actually you've got momentum now. That's cool to hear. Congratulations. Shane, during reference information listing must-have plugins. I know I've documented some videos, some from videos, but looking for an all-inclusive list. You know what, Shane? I'll go ahead after the video's done and put together that and either post it to the Facebook group as far as what I use on all my sites, or send it out, via email, or make a post of it in the membership area, or something like that. I'll get it out though. Facebook would probably be easiest to use. I'll make a post of that sometime in the next day or so. Dave M. Security is good and free. I use that with no problems. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, both of those ones I was mentioning from Yoast and from iThemes are paid security plugins. So Dave is saying that Security is free, and he's been using it with good results. FYI, there's about a 2-minute lag from when I see the questions when it shows up on your screen. Yeah, Jerry, that's the nature of Google Hangout. That's one of the drawbacks, I guess you could say. It's just the nature of it. But it also lets us run this as opposed to Camtasia, or not Camtasia, but GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar, which has all of its own inherent issues with kind of administrative rights and announcements and invitations. And, I think it also costs like $500 a month or something like that. And it also, tops out at I think 500 people, and you can have as many on these as you want to. So yeah, good information. I didn't know about it though. It's just kind of, it goes with the territory. All right, yeah, absolutely, Shane. That's a good question, and it's a resource. Those lists continue to evolve. So, for right now, what I'll do is put it together for this point in time. This is what I use, kind of thing. So, if somebody 6 months from now sees it, there might be a new security plugin that's come out to address some kind of weird breach, or some great SEO plugin that comes out that's even easier to use. So those kinds of things just happen. Okay, question here from Artie. Have you ever used affiliate networks like LinkShare and ShareASale? You have to sign up for advertisers to try to get accepted, but how can I promote products on there? It only gives links to the advertiser's site. Do not know, Artie. Those are sites I've not used yet, or before. I don't know if I will use them or not, but I don't have any experience with either one of those. I'm not sure. TJ, signing off, bud. Thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure, and thanks for the help on that AFPANG, on being my memory. Take care, TJ. We'll talk to you soon. Graham, thanks for a good session. Lots of clarity. Will email reloading up themes and plugins. Oh, absolutely, Graham. I'll be looking for that, so I'll take care of that whenever you get something over to me. Yeah, it sounds like people are kind of winding down, so I'll give it another few minutes, and if people are in a good place today, we'll go ahead and wrap it up, and we'll plan on seeing you guys in another couple days. Hey, awesome, TDL. Thank you for being on. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we've got another session scheduled for Tuesday. Yeah, Artie, sorry about that. You know, I try to be pretty well versed on everything, but those are two things that I've not used yet, so I don't have any insight on those. Bob, always glad to have you on, man. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, sounds like things are kind of winding down, so I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording for Camtasia, and we'll wrap up this Google Hangout, and we'll get the replay over to David to get that posted. Otherwise, we'll keep in touch with you guys via email or in the Facebook group, and we'll see you in a couple days on our next coaching session. All right, guys, take care. I will talk to you all soon. Got another question here from Dave. Thanks, Fletch. Been trying to rank the YouTube bids. All information looks good. I have embedded 2 PBN linking back to the money site and 1 PBN recently linking back to the video with no movement. Yeah, I might hammer if it's a video, Dave. You know, we can use those good high quality links to rank videos, but you got to be more patient. And not more patient than you're being, but it just takes to wait to see those results. My experience has been to see those results than it is if you just start sending out more and more of those low quality links. I have a feeling it's something Google will eventually address. So, you know, long term, if you're thinking that way, you might just want to be more patient, wait longer, use more links from PBNs, and go that route. So. And then any idea about referencing to geolocation? Oh yeah. Whenever you're based in a certain country, when you post a video, if you want it to show up, like if you're tagging a city, like, you know, Manchester or London or wherever it might be, you know, you just need to go in. There's an advanced tab when you post that YouTube video that you can tell where that video was made, and that will let you have more authority within that geographic area. So do that. Okay, guys, thanks again. We'll talk to you soon.